Good Friday, April 3rd, 2026, 4:40 in the morning, local time, somewhere over the black sky of southwestern Iran. An F-15E Strike Eagle, call sign Dude 44, is flying at combat speed on a deep strike mission. It has outrun radar. It has outrun interceptors. It is one of the most advanced fighter jets ever built. And then, from somewhere in the darkness below, a single shoulder-fired heat-seeking missile rises. The engine sucks it in. In seconds, Dude 44 is gone. Two men eject into the night over enemy territory. They land miles apart, and the most extraordinary rescue operation in modern American military history begins. This is the story of Dude 44 Bravo, Colonel, a warrior, a man who spent 48 hours alone, bleeding, hunted, and was found by a technology so secret that most physicists still say it should be impossible. The war had started 35 days earlier. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched a coordinated series of surprise strikes on Iranian military and nuclear infrastructure, the largest Western military operation in the Middle East in a generation. American warplanes had been operating over Iranian airspace ever since. On March 24th, President Trump had declared that Iran was unable to, quote, do a thing about U.S. aircraft in its skies. 10 days later, a single Iranian service member with a shoulder-fired Manpads missile proved him wrong. The F-15E belonged to the 494th Fighter Squadron, 48th Fighter Wing, based at RAF Lakenheath in England. Both the pilot, Dude 44 Alpha, and the weapons systems officer, Dude 44 Bravo, ejected successfully, but they landed miles apart in hostile Iranian territory, with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps already launching a manhunt. Tehran offered a $60,000 bounty for their capture, 11 years' salary for the average Iranian citizen. At 4:40 a.m., the Joint Personnel Recovery Center declared both men down in hostile territory. Their rescue beacons were active, and on the orders of the President and the Secretary of Defense, the mission to bring them home began immediately. The pilot, Dude 44 Alpha, came down in the Khuzestan province area. A combat search and rescue task force of 21 aircraft launched immediately. A 10C Thunderbolt IIs for close air support, HC-130J Combat King IIs for coordination, and HH-60W Jolly Green IIs helicopters for extraction. They flew into Iranian airspace in broad daylight. In a country that had just shot down an F-15E, the rescue helicopter reached the pilot and extracted him under close-range gunfire. The HH-60W, according to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, was engaged by every single person in Iran who had a small arms weapon. A trailing helicopter took several hits. A crew member was wounded. An A-10 providing escort absorbed so much fire it could not land. Its pilot flew the burning aircraft all the way to Kuwaiti airspace before ejecting. Dude 44 Alpha was out, wounded but alive. But his crewman, the colonel, was still somewhere in the Zagros Mountains, injured badly, alone. And Iran was closing in from every direction. The colonel had landed far from his pilot, miles away in the Kogiluya and Boya Ahmed province, near the city of Dedasht. He was bleeding profusely from injuries sustained during ejection. He was alone at night in a foreign country whose government had just put a bounty on his head. He did not wait to be found. He moved, using every technique from years of survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training. He climbed a 7,000-foot mountain ridgeline in the Zagros Range. He treated his own wounds on the move. He found a mountain crevice and disappeared into it, pressing himself into the rock, invisible from above and below. He knew that his emergency beacon, his only link to rescue, was also a signal that Iranian forces could intercept and home in on. So he used it sparingly, briefly, just enough. Meanwhile, US surveillance drones swept the mountains and found nothing. His position was listed as unknown. Iranian state television broadcast wreckage. The IRGC, the besieged militia, and armed Bakhtiari tribal fighters, men who had hunted in these mountains their whole lives, were converging on the area. Local residents were searching village by village. The $60,000 bounty was a fortune in a country where the average worker earns less than $6,000 a year. At one point, alone in his crevice with enemy forces drawing closer, the colonel broke radio silence. He sent a single, short message to American forces. God is good. Then silence again. This is the chapter that makes the story unlike anything that has come before it in the history of warfare. The CIA deployed a classified system called Ghost Murmur, developed by Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works division, the most secretive advanced research unit in American defense. It had never been used operationally before. This mission in the mountains of southern Iran would be its first. Ghost Murmur works by detecting the electromagnetic fingerprint of a human heartbeat using quantum magnetometry. Sensors constructed around microscopic defects in synthetic diamonds that can detect magnetic fields of extraordinary weakness. It then pairs that signal with artificial intelligence software to filter the heartbeat signature from the noise of the environment around it. In simple terms, if your heart is beating in the right conditions, this system can find you. One source described it this way: like hearing a voice in a stadium. In the right conditions, if your heart is beating, we will find you. The desert mountains of southern Iran, cold and empty at night, with almost no competing electromagnetic signals, almost no other human beings nearby, were as close to ideal conditions as Ghost Murmur could ask for. When the colonel briefly emerged from his crevice to activate his beacon, that movement gave the system its confirmation window. From approximately 40 miles away, a heartbeat was detected, isolated by AI from the background noise of wind and rock. Confirmed as human. Confirmed as alive. CIA Director John Ratcliffe went to the White House Situation Room and told the president that the colonel was alive, concealed in a mountain crevice, invisible to the enemy, but not to the CIA. But Ghost Murmur was only one part of what the CIA was doing. Simultaneously, agency operatives had launched a disinformation campaign inside Iran, spreading the word through Iranian networks that the colonel had already been found and was being moved overland toward the border. Iranian forces scrambled to intercept a convoy that did not exist. And to complete the deception, the US flew 9 aircraft to a location 25 miles away from the colonel's actual position, drawing Iranian attention in entirely the wrong direction. Trump received the confirmation. He ordered the rescue to go. His own military advisors were not unanimous. There were military people, very professional, that preferred not doing it. He later said, "They went anyway." What was assembled over the following hours was a force that dwarfed the firepower of most nations' entire air forces, all of it focused on bringing one man off a mountain. 155 aircraft in total, 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft. They flew for 7 hours in darkness over hostile Iranian airspace. B-1B Lancer bombers dropped 102,000-pound bombs to crater roads and destroy IRGC convoys advancing toward the extraction zone. MQ-9 Reaper drones fired on Iranian forces closing in on the colonel's position. US commandos on the ground fired to keep enemy soldiers beyond 1.5 miles from the crevice where he was hiding. A team of roughly 100 Special Operations personnel, Delta Force operators, SEAL Team 6, Air Force pararescuemen, Night Stalkers, inserted via two MC-13OJ Commando II transport aircraft onto an abandoned farm airstrip 14 miles north of Shahreza city. Trump later described the landing site as a farm without a runway, with wet, crummy soil, sand, mostly sand, wet sand, and it eats planes alive. The strip was 200 feet wide and 3,900 feet long, in the dark, in enemy territory. 4 MH-6M Little Bird helicopters, the smallest, most agile Special Operations aircraft in the US inventory, were brought in and rapidly assembled on site. One Little Bird flew to the colonel's mountaintop position approximately 5 miles away. It extracted him from the crevice and flew him back to the forward operating base. Then, the mission nearly unraveled. The nose gears of both MC-13OJs had sunk into the wet sand. They could not take off. With over 100 personnel, two $114 million aircraft, 4 Little Birds, and Iranian forces advancing, the commander made the decision. They destroyed everything. Both MC-13OJs, all 4 Little Birds, over $500 million worth of US military equipment detonated in place to prevent a single piece of classified technology from falling into Iranian hands. Replacement aircraft were already inbound. The colonel and all 100 personnel were extracted. US forces fired 339 total munitions across both rescue operations over 50 hours. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs said it plainly: "You will not be left behind. We will always come find you, and we will always bring you home." On April 5th, 2026, Easter Sunday, just after midnight, a post appeared on Truth Social. 3 words: "We got him." A wounded colonel was alive. No American serviceman had been killed. The most complex combat search and rescue operation in the history of US Special Operations was complete. But the detail that history will remember, the detail that changes everything about what we thought was possible in warfare, is this: a man hid inside a mountain crevice in enemy territory. He treated his own wounds. He minimized every signal he could. He was invisible to drones, to radar, to every conventional search method available. And the CIA found him anyway, from 40 miles away, by detecting the electromagnetic signature of his beating heart. Whether Ghost Murmur is exactly what officials say it is, a genuine quantum leap in detection technology, or the most sophisticated intelligence deception operation ever conceived, the message it sends to every adversary on Earth is the same. There is nowhere to hide. Not underground, not inside a mountain, not in a crevice in the dark. If your heart is still beating, America will find you.